Discipline is the quiet architect of greatness. It's not loud or flashy. It doesn't draw attention to itself, but it is the hidden strength behind every success story. Many people desire success, but few are willing to do the daily work required to build it. The truth is, success is not built in a moment. It is built day by day, choice by choice, act by act. Daily discipline is the secret that turns ordinary people into extraordinary leaders, dreamers into doers, and faith into fruit. Each morning brings a new opportunity to begin again. Every sunrise is an invitation from God to live with purpose, to choose the narrow path of consistency over the wide road of comfort. The disciplined person rises not because it is easy, but because they have decided that the reward of faithfulness is worth more than the ease of comfort. Discipline is the decision to keep going when your feelings say stop, to keep believing when you can't yet see results, and to keep working when no one else is watching. When you look at anyone who has achieved greatness, whether in faith, leadership, family, or purpose, you will find the same foundation, discipline. They did not arrive by accident. They made deliberate choices, repeated daily, that shaped their future. The athlete who trains before dawn, the student who studies when others sleep, the believer who prays in the stillness of night, each one understands that true success begins long before the applause ever comes. Discipline is not punishment, it is preparation. It is the refining process that shapes you into who you are meant to be. Just as a blacksmith heats the metal and hammers it again and again until it takes the right form, life will test you and press you through discipline until your purpose becomes clear. You cannot become strong without resistance, and you cannot walk in purpose without practice. Discipline is the fire that forges your destiny. In the spiritual life, discipline is the backbone of faith. It is what keeps you praying when answers seem delayed. It is what helps you forgive when your heart is wounded. It is what guides you to trust when the path is unclear. Faith without discipline drifts into emotion, strong one day, weak the next, but faith rooted in discipline endures through every storm. Every day you are faced with choices that either build your destiny or delay it. You can choose distraction, or you can choose devotion. You can choose to waste time, or you can choose to invest it. You can choose comfort, or you can choose calling. Discipline teaches you to choose what matters most, even when it's not what feels best. Success doesn't come from one great decision. It comes from 1,000 small decisions made with purpose and persistence. The person who learns to master themselves becomes unstoppable. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against the world, but within your own heart, against laziness, doubt, fear, and inconsistency. Discipline silences the voice of fear with action. It replaces hesitation with courage. It transforms potential into progress. Discipline means praying when you don't feel spiritual. It means giving thanks even when life feels unfair. It means staying committed to the dream when progress is slow. It means showing up again and again, believing that each small act of faithfulness matters. The person who commits to daily discipline may not see change immediately, but over time, that consistency produces strength, wisdom, and fruitfulness. The farmer understands this truth well. He plants seeds, waters them, and waits sometimes for weeks or months before he sees any sign of growth. Yet he doesn't stop working the soil. He trusts the process because he knows that harvest always follows faithfulness. In the same way, your daily discipline is the seed of your future success. It may feel small now, but if you remain faithful, it will produce a harvest beyond what you imagine. So many people pray for success, but ignore the discipline success requires. They want results without routine, growth without grit, and victory without the daily choices that lead there. But you cannot pray for harvest and refuse to plant. You cannot ask for strength while avoiding the training that builds it. You cannot ask for purpose while ignoring the process that prepares you for it. Discipline is the bridge between desire and fulfillment. There will be days when discipline feels like a burden, days when you'd rather sleep than rise early, rather relax than prepare, rather quit than continue. In those moments, remember this: discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's not about doing everything right, it's about refusing to give up when things go wrong. Each day you keep going, you are training your spirit to be stronger than your circumstances. Discipline is the power to say no to what is easy and yes to what is eternal. It is the strength to turn down temporary pleasure for long-term peace. The disciplined person learns that success is not about how fast you move, but about how faithfully you continue. It's about consistency, not convenience. It's about character, not comfort. Many people start strong, but few finish well. Passion gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Passion is the spark, but discipline is the fire that sustains it. You can have all the talent in the world, but without discipline, talent will fade. You can have big dreams, but without discipline, they will remain only dreams. Discipline gives life to vision. When you are disciplined, your mind becomes focused. Distractions lose their power. You learn to guard your thoughts, to train your emotions, to direct your energy toward what truly matters. A disciplined mind is not easily shaken by failure or swayed by the opinions of others. It is anchored in purpose. The same is true in your spiritual life. The disciplined believer doesn't wait for perfect feelings to seek God. They know that relationship grows through regular, intentional time with Him. Prayer becomes a habit, not just a reaction. Gratitude becomes a rhythm, not just a response. And in that rhythm, strength begins to rise. Discipline is what separates wishful thinking from real transformation. You can wish to be closer to God, healthier, wiser, or more successful, but without disciplined action, it remains only a wish. Change happens when discipline meets faith. Every great story of transformation begins with a decision: I will not give up. I will stay faithful, one day at a time. Look around you. Nature itself teaches this truth. The mighty oak tree began as a small acorn that endured years of growth, storms, and seasons. The river that carves deep valleys does not rush. It flows steadily over time. The sunrise does not appear in an instant. It rises slowly but faithfully each day. In the same way, your progress may not be quick, but if it is consistent, it will be unstoppable. Do not despise small beginnings. The daily disciplines that seem insignificant today will become the foundation of your success tomorrow. Reading 1 chapter a day, praying 10 minutes a day, choosing patience over anger, kindness over bitterness, these small acts shape the person you are becoming. There is beauty in discipline because it leads to freedom. The person who disciplines their body is free from the chains of laziness. The person who disciplines their mind is free from confusion. The person who disciplines their heart is free from impulsive emotion. Discipline does not limit you. It liberates you to live fully and purposefully. The greatest example of discipline is seen in a life of obedience, doing what is right, not because it is easy, but because it is true. Discipline aligns you with your purpose and keeps you walking on the path even when it feels narrow. It teaches you that true success is not about achieving everything you want, but becoming everything you were created to be. When trials come, discipline keeps you steady. When the world shakes, discipline keeps you standing. When discouragement whispers that it's not worth it, discipline reminds you that faithfulness always bears fruit. You may not see progress every day, but every day of discipline brings you closer to the promise. The secret to success is not found in one big moment of inspiration, but in 1,000 small moments of consistency. The world celebrates results, but heaven celebrates faithfulness. Your daily discipline, your quiet commitment, your steady obedience, Your unwavering dedication is the seed from which your future grows. So wake up each day with purpose, live each moment with focus, be disciplined in your habits, in your words, in your thoughts, and in your actions. Refuse to waste the gift of today. The future is shaped not by what you wish for, but by what you work for daily. Remember this truth. Feelings fade, motivation fluctuates, but discipline endures. It stands firm when storms rage. It keeps you moving when fear tries to hold you back. It is the inner strength that turns chaos into order, confusion into clarity, and dreams into destiny. If you want to live a life of success, start with daily discipline. Be faithful in the little things, and the greater things will follow. Your destiny is not built in a single moment. It is built through a lifetime of consistent, faithful, disciplined living. One day, when you look back, you will see that every early morning, every hard choice, every moment of perseverance was not wasted. It was building you, it was preparing you, it was shaping you into a person of strength, wisdom, and purpose. Success is not found in what you gain, but in who you become. And who you become is shaped by what you do daily. So stand firm, stay disciplined, keep moving forward, and remember, daily discipline is not just the secret to success. It is the path to becoming everything you were created to be. Success does not begin in the spotlight. It begins in silence. It begins in the quiet places where no one is watching, where effort meets faith, and discipline becomes devotion. The truth is, most of what determines your success in life is not what you do occasionally, but what you do daily. Faithful effort, repeated again and again, has the power to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. It is through that steady commitment, those small, unseen choices, that lives are changed, dreams are fulfilled, and purposes are revealed. Each morning, when the sun rises and light touches the earth again, it whispers a divine reminder. Today is a new opportunity, not just to dream, but to do, not just to hope, but to act. Every day offers you a choice to walk in purpose or drift in passivity. And it is the faithful ones, the disciplined souls, who choose to do what's right day after day, who see the beauty of transformation unfold in their lives. There's something sacred about daily effort. It is not glamorous, it rarely gets applause, but heaven honors faithfulness. The simple act of getting up, staying committed, giving your best, even when it's hard, that's where character is built. That's where success takes root. You see, extraordinary lives are not made by extraordinary moments alone. They are built by ordinary people who simply refuse to give up. Every great leader, every champion, every person who has accomplished something meaningful has learned this truth. Small efforts, done faithfully, create big change over time. Consider the farmer who plants a seed. When he places that tiny seed in the soil, he doesn't expect a harvest the next day. He doesn't dig it up in frustration because nothing has appeared overnight. He waters it, he waits, he nurtures the soil. Days pass, weeks pass, and still there's no visible sign of progress, but beneath the surface the seed is changing, roots are forming, growth is happening where no eye can see. In the same way, your faithful efforts, your prayers, your hard work, your discipline may not show results right away, but something powerful is happening beneath the surface. Every day you choose to keep going, you're strengthening your roots. You're preparing for the moment when your harvest will appear. Faithful effort transforms the ordinary because it shifts your focus from outcome to obedience. You stop living just for results and start living for purpose. You learn that it's not about how fast you move, but how consistent you are. Progress may seem slow, but it's steady, and in that steady rhythm of discipline, greatness is born. So many people want success, but few are willing to embrace the process that leads to it. They want the prize without the preparation, the victory without the struggle, but life doesn't work that way. Every success story is built on sacrifice. Every breakthrough is the product of perseverance. When you choose faithfulness over feelings, you begin to change. You stop chasing motivation and start cultivating discipline. Motivation is fleeting, it rises and falls with emotions, but discipline remains when motivation fades. Discipline says, I will show up even when I don't feel like it. Discipline says, I will keep praying even when I don't see results. Discipline says, I will continue to serve even when no one notices. That's what transforms a person from ordinary to extraordinary. Think of a sculptor working with stone. To the outside world, the stone looks rough, unformed, and ordinary, but the sculptor sees the masterpiece hidden inside. Day after day, he chips away little by little, piece by piece. He doesn't quit because the progress is slow. He knows that each strike of his chisel is bringing him closer to what he envisions. In time, the rough stone becomes a work of art. That is what faithful effort does in your life. Every disciplined act, every patient moment, every small victory chips away at the rough edges of your character, revealing the masterpiece within. You may not see it right away, but if you keep working, keep believing, and keep trusting, one day you'll see what all that faithfulness has created. Sometimes we underestimate what God can do with simple consistency. We think success must come from grand achievements, big moments, or public recognition. But most of the time, it's the small, daily acts that make the biggest difference. A kind word spoken in love, a decision to forgive, a moment spent in prayer, a choice to stay honest when it would be easier to lie. Each of these choices may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they shape your life. Faithful effort transforms the ordinary because it changes you from the inside out. It strengthens your heart, it builds patience, it deepens your faith. It reminds you that purpose is not found in rushing toward results, but in walking faithfully each day, one step at a time. You may be in a season where it feels like your efforts are not being noticed. You've been working hard, praying, believing, and yet there's no visible change. Let me encourage you, don't give up. The absence of immediate results does not mean the absence of progress. Some of the most powerful growth happens in hidden places. The roots of trees grow deep before the branches reach high. What you build in private will one day be revealed in public. When you remain faithful in the ordinary, you're preparing for the extraordinary. Every day of effort is a seed of preparation. Every time you choose integrity over convenience, you are strengthening your character. Every time you keep moving forward despite obstacles, you are training your spirit for victory. True success is not measured by what you achieve, but by what you overcome. It's not about applause or attention, it's about obedience and endurance. When your heart stays faithful and your hands stay diligent, blessings begin to follow. Opportunities open, wisdom increases, and peace fills your soul. Faithful effort also builds trust both with people and with God. When you prove yourself dependable in the small things, you become ready for greater responsibility. Life has a way of rewarding consistency. The person who is faithful with little is often trusted with much. When you show that you can handle the daily disciplines of life with integrity, you prepare yourself for doors that lead to greater purpose. There is also a spiritual truth here. Every act of faithfulness draws you closer to God. When you dedicate each day to doing what is right, praying, serving, giving, forgiving, your spirit becomes aligned with divine purpose. You begin to see life differently. You find peace in process, not just in progress. You realize that the journey itself is part of your transformation. Faithful effort requires patience, and patience requires trust. Trust that every step you take has meaning. Trust that even your struggles are shaping you. Trust that delay is not denial. Many people quit just before their breakthrough. They stop watering their seed just before the first sprout appears. Don't make that mistake. Keep tending to what you've planted. Keep showing up. Keep believing. The harvest always comes to those who refuse to stop working the field. Every person who has ever accomplished something great faced moments of doubt and difficulty. There were times when quitting seemed easier than continuing, but they chose to press on not because they felt strong, but because they believed their effort mattered. That is the kind of faithfulness that changes everything. When you live with faithful effort, your mindset changes. You stop comparing your journey to others. You stop looking for shortcuts. You start valuing progress over perfection. You learn to celebrate small victories because you know they lead to big ones. You become more grateful, more grounded, and more patient. Success then becomes more than a goal. It becomes a lifestyle, a reflection of who you are and what you stand for. You realize that you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to be persistent. Faithful effort transforms the ordinary by teaching you that every action matters. Every disciplined choice today builds the foundation for tomorrow's success. Your consistency is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. So, wake up each day with purpose. Decide that today you will give your best. Even if no one notices, even if it feels small, keep doing what's right, because every faithful step is shaping your future. Every moment of discipline is creating strength. Every act of effort is a seed of success. When you live this way, your life begins to shine. People will look at you and see something different, a quiet strength, a steady peace, a deep resilience. And that is the mark of a person who has learned the power of daily, faithful effort. It's not about being the most talented, the most gifted, or the most recognized. It's about being the most faithful. Faithful in your work, faithful in your words, faithful in your walk. That is where transformation begins. And when you look back one day, you'll realize that the things you once thought were small, the daily habits, the quiet prayers, the unseen sacrifices, were actually the very things that carried you into greatness. You'll see that success didn't come from one grand moment, but from thousands of little ones where you simply refused to quit. Faithful effort transforms the ordinary because it takes what's common and fills it with divine purpose. It turns the everyday routine into a sacred rhythm. It transforms the mundane into meaningful moments, and in doing so, it molds you into someone who not only succeeds in life, but lives with peace, purpose, and joy. So, keep going, keep working, keep believing. Don't despise small beginnings, for in them lie the seeds of greatness. One day, the world will see what your quiet faithfulness has built, and you will know deep in your heart that it was your faithful effort, day after day, that turned the ordinary into something truly extraordinary.